I guess that Italy was my biggest option right there, without considering like economic side, any political side, because I really love the country. But talking with the company that I was working with, I asked them that what did they think between Canada and Italy. Canada was one of the decisions because of how good it is in studies, but Italy obviously was like my dream country. But right now, Italy is not really good politically and economically is not stable either. Well, but
Hi, welcome back to Beyond Borders, a podcast that will give you tips and share experiences of what the real process of applying to a university is. I'm your host, Miranda Mormontoy, and I'm glad to be here one more episode. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Alessia Ramos, a Peruvian student that is currently in Simon Fraser University, located in Canada. And in today's episode, she's going to talk to us all about her journey to applying to this university and how she spent her days there. And what inspired you to study abroad?
basically, I love biology, which is one of the reasons why I study abroad. Because mainly in our country, biology and biochemistry, most of the major that I have, is not that big, and you don't have many opportunities in there by what I've asked to other people. That's why I first wanted to study abroad because I know that biochemistry is really big in Canada and there's a lot of opportunities here and they're looking for a lot of biochemistries too. That's why like I chose Canada overall.
Well, this respond the other question, but I'm going to ask it all. I know that you were deciding to study between Italy, Canada, and England. And how did you make up your mind, and what factor did convince you to finally choose Canada?
I guess that Italy was my biggest option right there, without considering like economic side, any political side, because I really love the country. But talking with the company that I was working with, I asked them that what did they think between Canada and Italy. Canada was one of the decisions because of how good it is in studies, but Italy obviously was like my dream country. But right now, Italy is not really good politically and economically is not stable either. Well, by the time that I chose Canada, that was what they told me. So I think that's the reason why I chose Canada overall, because they were both good countries, but if it convinced me more and it was more convenient for me to stay in Canada.
Do you recommend studying in Canada like overall other countries?
I think the US is really popular for studying, but Canada, it just feels different from the US from my own experience. There's a lot of international students here, especially in Vancouver. A lot of people come here to study. It's pretty good. The transit is amazing. The prices might be a bit high compared to every other province in Canada, but it's pretty good to make friends here. The classes are amazing, and the way they teach here is pretty good. I guess like it's a really recommended place to come here. Also because of the scenery and it's a really good city. Like, everything is just connected. You can go to the mall in 5 minutes. You have, I don't know, another university like 10 minutes away. It's pretty close.
I wonder.
Hmm.
What were your top choices before deciding, and how did you finally land on SFU?
My other choices, of course, like as everyone else was, UBC is like one of the top universities there. Also, the University of Manitoba and maybe Toronto. I applied to the UBC, to Manitoba and SFU. I got accepted into Manitoba and SFU, obviously. But UBC, I didn't have my grades by then, so I couldn't do the application. I guess for UBC, the reason why I didn't generally got there is because of obviously the price is like twice what it's SFU right now. Manitoba, it was actually a good option. It's a bit cheaper than SFU, but what my parents and I didn't like is just really the place. It's really isolated from everything else. That's why a lot of people don't go there. And my mom knows that I love like being with people and having everything next to me, like more of a city person. So she asked some of her friends that already live in Canada and asked her like, you think it's better if I send her to Vancouver or to Manitoba? And they told me Manitoba is a really good place, but it's basically a camp. Like, you don't have much there. It's very isolated, and SFU will give me like a lot of resources next to each other.
Yeah. And can you tell us about how you choose your major? I think that it's biology and biochemic.
Yeah. So practically my whole family, they're on the science part. So I guess that inspired me in some way to get into science too. I was not sure about my major like probably 5 years ago, but I guess when I was like 15, 16, I had my mindset on science. I started on biology once I got here, but then after the IB, I guess I got this interest for chemistry too. So I changed my major to molecular biochemistry.
Oh, Um, what has been the most challenging part of your academic journey so far?
I guess, as I mentioned, like the way they teach here, it's really good, but then it's completely different. So how they teach in Peru or in high school, they like to do a lot of pre-lectures. So you need to come to the class with knowing what the class is gonna be about already. So they're gonna send you like some pre-lecture material. You gotta read it. You gotta foresee the material, and then you go class knowing already what you're gonna see. So it's a bit difficult for some people. It's a lot of self-study for some classes too. I don't know. I have many friends in for the Peruvian universities, and they don't do any pre-lecture, so I guess that's a bit different in there. So that was a bit challenging at first, like getting used to every day before the class, reading like 20 pages of the material, and then going to class already knowing this, and the teacher usually like goes over a specific points. So it's a bit difficult to catch up to that. I guess that's the only thing I had telling.
Did IB prepare you for the university and in what ways?
Oh, it did really good. I guess like at some point when I was in the IB, it's like as the worst thing in my life, I don't want to do it anymore. But compared to how people do like I don't know an essay or how they study, it's completely different. When you get into IB, you learn your ways to study and then how useful can they be for you. And they maybe like this is a thing that many people hate, but the fact that IB students are able to write an essay in like 2 hours without like getting distracted, it's actually amazing. And that's have applied here too. I've noticed like how me and my friends from IB are able to write essays or like write a like science report in such a like little time compared to other people who struggle and like I have friends who didn't do the IB calling me for help because they didn't know how to structure a science lab. That's like the biggest thing the IB gives you.
How did you manage this application? Did they manage this application for you?
So first, what they do is they go on a meeting. They talk about the possibilities, why universities could be good for you, and then obviously they talk about which country you want to go to. After that, you send them your major, what major you wanna do, and then they're gonna send you an Excel list with all the different universities you could apply to in Canada and every province. By then, you have a second meeting with them when you choose the around two or three universities that you want to apply to, which I did. And then after that, they're gonna wait for you to send them your grades from like fifth grade, your last grade in high school, or IB grades, obviously. And also, I think they need a proof of English level, so that's also a thing they're gonna ask you for. And after that, once you decided which university you want to go to, especially, they send those papers, and then they're gonna like text you back when they get the acceptance letter.
And it was different, like to apply without the standards text, the test that like universities want, like SAT or TOEFL.
Oh yeah, for me, they asked me for an IB level English around five. I got a seven, so that was good for them. But I guess it is like different because you don't need to like pay for it. You need to like study for it. I guess the IB already provides you that English level, so that's perfect for me.
What was the most confusing part of like the application of the visa? Any tips for navigating it?
Oh yeah, for Canada visas in Peru, it's really, really difficult. I've been to the office around like 5 times already for both my tourist visa and my student visa. It takes a long time. A lot of people need to apply early, and it's really a chaos for like sending the funds proof, like your parents' bank accounts and everything. You might get rejected the first time if you don't send your funds proof correctly, and then you have to reapply, and it takes a long time. Also, the office is not that good. I'm guessing it was my experience, but they take a long time to call you too, and it's really really fast.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know. What do you wish someone had told you before applying to university abroad?
I guess that you can also do it on your own. Your people are so scared to apply on by themselves because they may not get accepted, so they rely on a company. I did like a lot the company that I worked with. They were really, really good. But I also knew by my friends who applied by themselves that it was pretty much easier to do it by yourself, and then you could get an insight of what the university was like because they send you all the emails directly to you and not directly to the company. So I guess that a lot of people think it's scary to apply for themselves, but actually it's not. It's actually way easier to do it by yourself than to do it by a company. So if you have the chance to do it by yourself, I guess you can do it by yourself.
And how was your first year abroad? Any surprising challenges or moments?
I guess because I'm now in a first world country, like you see compared to Peru how unorganized it is. Seeing how organized Canada is, especially let's say on the streets, like Peruvian traffic's like really bad. But here they just respect everything. They are really nice. They really even have like buttons on the changing lines only for people who walk through. It's really good. And I guess moving around transit, it was actually one of the things that shocked me because we don't have that much in Peru, and the transit, like the trains in Peru, are also really crowded, and it's not the best way to transit. And oh, it looks like here they have buses for everywhere, they have trains everywhere, and I guess that makes everything easier. For me specifically, I have class in the other SFU campus in Surrey, and taking the train and the bus takes me like what 30 minutes, and I'm there already.
Yeah, and it's also like so much safer there.
It's way safer, yeah.
And what was the hardest part about adapting to a new country, city, and university? Was there anything that surprised you about the university culture?
I guess because there's a lot of people who study abroad in SFU, there's not too much difference between like if you're like Peruvian, if you're like Latin American. I have a lot of Russian friends, a lot of Asian friends. So I think the culture is not that like it doesn't hit you that much because everyone's here is new, everyone here doesn't know about the country, so you guys get to learn together. But I guess it does hit me a lot, the homesickness, because a lot of people here, my friends, they have their parents already here because they're Canadian. But then for me, it's difficult to communicate with my parents because Peru is 2 hours more, it's ahead of time. And also, for example, I got sick last week and then I got really sick. I had to go to the ER. My mom was so worried. I was worried. It's really difficult to like keep this communication, and then your parents sometimes will feel like they don't have the chance to help you out, and then you have to like help yourself out. You have to adapt, and then you rely on the people you meet here. So I guess that homesickness really hits a lot of people.
Mine. Well, how did you deal with homesickness? Do you have any routines, activity to make you feel at home?
The good thing about me here is that I surprisingly have a lot of Peruvian friends. So most of them like to go back for the summer, for the breaks. So they bring like some chocolates for us, like to remind us of the like flavors in Peru. And also here there's a really good Peruvian restaurant. So I guess that sums up for it. But for homesickness, I guess I love calling my best friends like every night and tell them like what about my day. That and also my mom and my dad they call me like every hour like asking how I am, and they also send me pictures of my dogs. Like that's the only thing I ask for them to do. That's like for homesickness. And I guess your friends also help you out because like even though you can call them every hour, like my parents call me every minute, you still feel homesickness. Like you could be there like in your house getting the food that your parents made for you, being with my dogs or being able to hang out with my friends every weekend. Like I obviously miss that, but I guess like with my friends here in Peru, they always tell me like, "Oh, you're gonna see them soon. They're gonna come soon." It's really, really good having friends from your same country here that like reassure you that you're gonna see your family soon and that everything happens for a reason and that you're here because of them.
That's great. And how do you compare the teaching style of SFU to your experience back home in Peru?
I guess I mentioned it before. There's a lot of self-taught classes, you have to self-teach yourself a lot of things. Even though you can go ask in the class to your teacher, like, of some questions you have about the lecture, but still, they will not go over the full lecture. They will always do the specific points, and you have to self-study to say the other things that they didn't mention in class. So I guess that's the only thing that's different for me. Having to read all my lecture a day before the class might be like a bit stressing, but that's how they teach here.
What has it been like living with students from different cultures or backgrounds? Any like funny or meaningful stories that you have?
Yeah, I guess say I said I have like a lot of Russian and Korean friends, for example. Sometimes like we like to go to each other's restaurants. Like they find a restaurant like to serve Korean food, and like, oh, we go there, and then you guys like to let us know if it's good or not. Also, like in technically in SFU, they like to make days to commemorate a specific days on each culture. For example, they're big on the Indian culture. We have a day in actual dining hall for Indian food because of them, and also we have it for Mexican people, if I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, I think it's good. It's great. I love when my friends take me out to like eat in a restaurant that's from their country. The last thing I ate was Persian food, if I'm not wrong. They have huge barbecues and it was amazing.
And as if you have a Peruvian day.
I don't think they have, but they do have a Peruvian truck that comes for fall every weekend. I'm sure about that.
Whoa. You've made a big life transition. What have been the most valuable lesson about like independence?
I guess nobody is prepared to move alone. I guess everyone like guess it's like, oh, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna study, but you have to learn a lot of independence. I guess the valuable reason is like I have my friends here, and then you are able to reach out to other people. Like, even if you feel like you're alone because you're in another country, it doesn't mean you don't have to reach out to other people. This people might be like the same, my friends are the same age as me, and they live with me. They live like next door, maybe in another building, but they are able and they're capable of take care of you. My friends had to take me to like get checked in the doctor, or if you're sick, they are able to like go and buy you some medicine. They're like the nicest people I've met here. And I guess having friends, even if you're scared, is really good because then you can rely on someone else and don't like just isolate yourself.
You built your friend group before arriving. How did you do that from Peru?
I guess a lot of people like to text each other when they find out. For example, for me, they created a group for everyone who was in my building. So I guess a lot of people say like, "Oh my God, which building are you? Which room are you?" And by then, one of my best friends now, he's from India. He texted me privately like, "Yo, I just realized you're in my building." I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then we started talking, and this is how we became really close, and now we're best friends. And for my other Peruvian friends, I guess like I just noticed I guess I'm a bit friendly, but I noticed in the group chat, everyone like with the plus 51 is like, oh, they're Peruvian. So I basically like text everyone saying like, hey, I saw you're Peruvian. I'm Peruvian too. And I saw you're going to like SFU in fall. And that's how I met one of my friends too.
Well, and who created that chat like of the people on the building? You?
Well, the Peruvian one, I created it, but then
Ah.
counselors from SFU, they created the group chat for residents, basically.
Wow. And that you recommend that for like people that is traveling abroad to have like a friend group and go there knowing people.
I guess not a lot of people are able to do that, like knowing people beforehand, because a lot of people, I guess, they're not as friendly or they're not as extroverts as many people are. But I guess at some point, like it's good to know someone so you don't get there and like just feel left out. But either way, people here are so friendly that they would just come to you and say like, "Yo, you want to be friends?" And then you guys start hanging out. It's really good. People here are like actually really nice.
What advice would you give to incoming students about forming friendship and building a community in the universities?
I guess don't isolate yourself. Like, don't think it's difficult. It might be different from high school because you're like designated class for like, I don't know, 90 people in your class and you're designated to have friends by then. But in here, it might be a bit difficult because it's you approaching new people at such a like old age. You're like 19, 18, 17. You're already grown, and then you know like how do you make friends? It's like really difficult at first. But I guess do not isolate yourself. Be free, be able to like go up to someone and ask them like, hey, if you can start just saying like, hey, can I get the class notes? And it's really people here are open to have friends. A lot of people here, international students, think it's difficult and they really want to get to know everyone here. So just go ask, like talk to people. They're really nice. They're gonna talk back to you. They're gonna be so friendly, and it's easy to make friends if you like get that in mind.
I also know that SFU it's like a big part of that. They do different events, I think. Like when you
And
arrive, I think that they do like a type of
a
party
welcoming
of
day.
all the
Yeah.
persons that like are
We have
new.
a welcoming day. Then we
Uh-huh.
walk around campus. They let us know like, okay, this is gonna be your classrooms. This is gonna be the dining hall. This is where you can like buy food from restaurants. And that day you can also get to meet a lot of people. They give you a name tag and then they give you some time to like also talk to the other new students too.
How has your social life helped your personal growth in Vancouver?
I guess going along with my friends and like the friend group that I have now, even if they're not my close friends, we have a really big friend group. They help you out a lot. They care about you because like they also know that you're alone in this, that you don't have your parents here, and you have to look out for each other. I guess that's the biggest part of having like a friend group here helps you out, like helping each other out. Even if you don't know this person like for like your whole life, you do feel this connection. Like you need to help them. You need to be there for them. Even if they're feeling down, you have to be there for them, and they help you a lot.
How do you balance your academic life with social activities like cheerleader or singing that I know that you do?
Oh, so for cheer, I guess I was not expecting to join the cheer team in SFU at first because I was like, oh, I'm gonna focus on my studies, and especially for ice skating too, because I cannot ice skate here. I need to go out. What I do is when I first got here and I met my coach, we talk about my schedule. Like he will arrange some classes for me, and then I can choose in the week what works better for me. So what I'm doing is for the days that I have no class, I prioritize going to ice skating because it's farther away from here. I go around 2 or 3 times a week when I'm totally free, but also because I guess it's a bit expensive in Canada. It's really, really expensive. It's not good to have classes every day, but it's pretty good. I usually go ice skating on my free days, and for cheer, usually I cannot change the schedule because they have a predetermined schedule for Wednesdays and Sundays, but it's Wednesday night, so it never crosses over my classes, which I like. And Sundays obviously I have nothing to do, and it's easier to get there. So I guess with my social life and studies, I really like to give myself a free day. You're able to choose your classes, choose the time you want to get them, what classes you want to take. So what I do is I put all my classes on the same day or like similar days, which give me around 2 or 3 free days in the week, so I can go out with my friends, like go train for cheer, go ice skating, and everything.
Like, how did you get into cheer?
I was walking on the club day because they have a club day every the first week of the semester. And because I was feeling a bit homesick from like ice skating because I couldn't ice skate by then because I was like arranging my schedule for school. I saw cheer and I saw they do this called co-ed, which is guys lifting girls up. Like, oh, that looks like interesting. So they saw me walking by. And what the club days do is like they grab your hand. They like, oh my God, do you want to try out for this? So they grab my hands like, do you want to try out for cheer? So I guess I just signed up in the same day and I went to tryouts the next day. It's a really, really hard fitness test for us, for cheerleaders. At first, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get in because like a lot of people who were already there were retesting for cheer next semester. So a lot of people there already knew cheer. But then I guess I did pretty good on the stunting and they called me back a few days later.
Wow. Um, how has joining activities helped you integrate in your campus life? And do you recommend that?
Oh, I guess it is really big. I love if people like get in clubs. I think it's a really good way to make friends, especially Canadian friends, because like the majority of people that you meet in SFU, because of your barrier, like the language barrier, is Spanish people. I have a lot of like Latino friends, but then once I got in cheer, I met a lot of my friends, like Canadian friends, and they're so welcoming. I was the only Latino by then, and they were like they thought I was like exotic or something, but yeah, they like approach me a lot. They invite me out sometimes, and I've grown to be close to them. We've been to a lacrosse game lately. We went all together. And yeah, we had a dinner too. It's really amazing how many people you can meet in clubs. So I really highly recommend people getting into clubs. And there are a lot of clubs here, even like if it's not sports, I think it's like even a Taylor Swift club. So yeah, it's like amazing if you get in a club.
What advice would you give to student applying abroad with no counselor or like a little help?
I guess like as I said before, you can do it by yourself. Of course, like don't be lazy and do it a last time. Like it is like hard to do the process, obviously, as every other university. So get your documents ready, read through the page because every university has an applying page, so you can read what you need to have for applying. Meet the requirements, like be really specific on that. Even if like you say, oh, maybe like I have a lower grade that they're asking, they're gonna accept me. No, you have to like meet the requirements that every university asks you. Always read the page. Like, please, like, read the page, look everything you need, and then after you have that and have you applied, and then you have secure your like letter of acceptance. Also, be careful reading how do you apply to your to the country you want to go to in your country. It's completely different for every country the way you're applying. Some country might be easier to apply for specific countries, and for your country might not. So I guess be big on reading the instructions for everything you're gonna do if you're doing it by yourself.
Um, okay. What do you think international universities are looking for in like applicants?
I guess a high level of English. A lot of students here sometimes might not know English and they like struggle a lot with communication here. What they look for is that you meet the requirements for like the classes that you need. And obviously like you need an English level to get there too. So I guess for international students what they mostly require, because there's a lot of international students coming in Canada, is becoming like a bit strict the way you're applying here. I guess that they ask for like really good grades and like a really good English level.
And for your application, do you think that extracurricular activities are important?
I guess it is at some point when you're applying to universities, because SFU is not a big university around the world. Like it is really good, but it's not like I don't know Yale or Harvard. They're not big on like, oh, you did sports, then you should come here. They of course like offer, sometimes like they offer mini sponsorships to some students who already know like sports, they're good in the sports. For example, there are a lot of guys in the basketball team that get sponsored by SFU for like their careers. So I guess that might help a bit if you're like really big on your own sport.
I know that you are a very active person, like you do a lot of sports and that. Do you recommend that to a new student in a university?
I guess a lot of people sometimes don't know what to do when they get to university, or like I guess a lot of people also like want to get into the gyms right away because like they know that, for example, SFU offers a free gym. For me, I'm not a big gym person because I like doing sports more. So I guess you want to keep active and not like committing to the gym, like it's not for you. Joining a sport is really good. They have like a competitive team and they have a former team, so you're never gonna feel like you are less than everyone else because they are gonna like grow on your pace.
And also, like universities have a lot of facilities of sports, so take
Yeah, you
advantage
can
of that.
also like rent that. You For SFU you can rent the gyms.
Mhm.
For example, they have I think a football league, futsal league too. They You can rent the gym and then do whatever you want with your friends. I have friends that like to play volleyball. You can rent the one of the big gyms and play volleyball there. They just like gonna provide you with everything, but you have to bring your obviously your own ball. But yeah, it's pretty easy. You can like go to like even Pilates here. You can do dance class, and they're just like $50 a week probably.
And how do you study? What methods or habits have helped you to maintain your academic performance?
I guess active learning helps a lot for classes as, for example, math or physics that I take, because they're like a really high base class on numbers. What I do is I just do active learning. I love to do exercise. Once I do exercise, I go over it, and I do like how did I did that? How can I do that? How can I, if this question comes in my exam, how would I solve it? So for base number based classes, I just do active recall with every number. For my other classes as chemistry and bio, they're more like for memorization. What I do is I do flashcards. First, of course I do my pre-lectures and I write down the important like sentences that might help me while I'm studying. And after I do that on my notes, when I'm studying, I will do flashcards for like only small words that will like make me remind of all the text that I read before.
And do you recommend like a studying group?
Oh, study groups depends on you. Of course, it depends on the person because a lot of people study better with when there's people around because they think you're being forced to study. And some people like to study alone. For example, I cannot study in my room because I think I could get distracted easily by everything that's around. So I love to study in the library. I love to study alone if it's like reading. But when I am studying for like important classes as bio, chem, or physics, I love to study with other people because I feel the pressure of like people studying also I study. I need to study too. So that helps me a lot when there's people around. And also like I need to talk to people sometimes because studying every hour, getting to like sit there and study for like 6 hours, 9 hours, it's tiring and then you need some social life too. So what I do is like I might go for study for 2 hours with my friends and then we take a break, we can go grab coffee and then we come back. It's really good for me to study in group.
And what mindset has helped you grow the most during your time abroad?
I guess that I love thinking that at some point, even if I struggle with my classes, it all comes to the part that I'm gonna get a degree at some point, that I'm gonna enjoy that part. I have friends in MBB, which is how they call my major, that are 4 years or fifth year already. They're graduating this semester, and they also help me a lot, like saying it all comes to this. It's really nice. You're gonna love the pathway. And also, what motivates me is that SFU, for example, they provide co-op, which is you can go work for your major at some point in your in your studies. I guess it starts in the second year or third year where you can apply for co-op. So that excites me a lot. I really want to go like get a job where I'm gonna do what I love, which is biochemistry.
And of the part of applying, do you think that there is a difference of local people in Canada to Latin Americans?
Oh, I think it's a really big. It's for example, a lot of universities the year for like financial rate for international students specifically the fee the whole year fee it's higher for international students than for local like Canadians obviously because like they're nationalists here but yeah I think the only difference is that it's a bit expensive for international students the university overall and for Canadian people it's like it's cheap as fuck.
If you could go back in time and have a coffee with your younger self right before starting university, what advice would you give her? What would you want her to know, to feel reassured about?
I guess don't doubt about my knowledge. When I first got here, I took some classes that I didn't need to take when I realized I didn't need to take at all because I was like worried that my knowledge had gone away through the years that I was not studying and I was taking a break from school. So I could have the chance to finish like my first year earlier because I didn't take like the classes that I had to take. So I guess don't doubt about your knowledge. I'll just say that to me like a lot because I was like really, really unsure when I first got here. And also, I guess don't don't follow what people say and like experience yourself once before I got here, a lot of people told me like, don't go to this place, don't go to the other place. Canada is like this, you shouldn't go do this. I guess it helps you a lot for a minute when you first get here. But when I experienced myself when I got here, it was like completely different. I have a completely this like different perspective of what people told me Canada was like. So I guess that means like a lot of people have different perspectives from you. So you gotta experience yourself. I guess I would tell myself like don't feel like you cannot do something because people are telling you how Canada should be and go experience it yourself.
And that's the end of the podcast. Thank you a lot, Alessia.
No worries.